My name is Paul. I have worked at the U for almost 11 years now. I've worked with transfer students in a variety of different offices, so you're always welcome to reach out to me with any questions you have. So I'll put my email in the chat. And so again, any questions, our office is really here to support transfer students. We know that transfer credit can be kind of a difficult thing to do sometimes. And so we're here to help kind of guide you through that. And so I'll show an overview and then we'll go into any particular questions at the end and I'll turn the recording off for any individual questions. And so Josie is our president of our Crimson Transfer Honor Society, and she's an out-of-state transfer student. So just take a minute to talk a little bit about her experience.
Yeah, so as Paul said, my name is Josie. I'm the president of the Crimson Transfer Honor Society. And I am an out-of-state transfer student. I transferred from a small school in Ohio. And I didn't transfer a ton of credits when I came in, but I definitely was obviously transferring credits. And it was definitely a little difficult. I think it's probably easier if there had been people who have transferred from that university previously. But there hadn't been when I transferred my credits in. And not all of them immediately were accepted. I think about half of them were accepted immediately, and then half of them were not. But I think the most important part that I learned during that was to advocate for myself and make sure those credits count because I took those classes. And so meeting with the registrar and talking through what the petition process looks like and how we can work together to make those credits count. And all of my credits ended up counting for what I needed them to count for. I'm a psychology major, and so one of the classes I was transferring in was Intro to Psych, and that was able to count as that class and not just a gen ed, which was really nice. And the petitioning process isn't too difficult. It's a form, for me, it was a form I filled out, and I just had to have the syllabus of my previous classes on hand, talk about how it's similar to the one at the U and why I feel like it should count for credit. And they approved it pretty quickly. I think after I put the petition in, it took about 2 weeks to be approved, and then it was fine. So overall, I'd say stay with it, and use your resources. Paul's a great one. Jill is a great one. But you can find all that information on our website. Yeah, I'll turn it back to Paul.
Thank you, Josie. So I wanted to walk through the website just to show where everything is located, and then kind of talk through some kind of common things I've seen. And so this is our website, transfer.utah.edu. And so if you go under the prepare to transfer, we have research how your courses will transfer to the U. So you'll click on that, and this is a lot of transfer credit information. And then, like as Josie mentioned, the registrar's office is doing a really good job of really systematizing and posting what people have transferred. And so if you click on this first block, it's the out of state. Well, it's for all students, but it's really good for out of state students to look at the transfer equivalency guide. And so what you can do is everything is listed by alphabetical order, and so you can find the college by order. So I'll just show one that I know that we have a lot of out-of-state transfer students from. Colorado has a Arapahoe community college, and so if you click on this, just as an example, it will show, my computer's being a little slow. It'll show tons of credits, and it'll give you like a 5-year window that they get approved for. So once someone does it, it will apply to future students, but we have seen that you might be the first person to submit it. So we'll talk through the equivalency guides and petitions, but you can see here the course at your prior institution, what it counts at the U, and then when it's valid for. And so you could see for this one, if you go all the way down, there's more than one page. So there's a second page of courses. So not every institution has this much now, but that's where we're kind of going. And so that is a great one because that's already automatically entered. If for a student is transferring from in-state, there's some different rules. And so there's a Utah transfer guide. And so that is through the Utah System of Higher Education. And you can look up where you want to transfer from, and then you can see towards the University of Utah. So I won't spend too much time on that. That one's pretty simple. And this is all just on our transfer credit. So transfer.utah.edu/transfer credit. Some other things to be aware of is that a great place to see like how your credit is coming or not is to run a degree audit. And so we won't look up any personal information, but on here, there is a guide and a sample one you can look at, and this is through the registrar's office. And it'll show like what's green is what's been completed, blue is any classes you're signed up for, and then red is any requirements that you haven't yet met. Because this is a screenshot, you can't click on it, but on your actual degree audit, let's say you said, oh, bachelor's degree, I have something done, I'm in a class, I need a class to do, you can click on it and it'll actually break it out for you on your real degree audit. And so on this page that you could just get through from ours, it says like how to run it, how to read it, some tools that you can use, and then for transfer courses, and this is something I was going to mention as well, is that if it doesn't show up on your degree audit, you want to make sure that you've sent your final transcript. Again, especially if like you have got admitted and you didn't have an associate degree posted, but now you have an associate's degree, you'll want to submit that final transcript with your degree on it. And so that would be the first step to make sure that you've sent in all your transcripts, and all the documentations. AP credit, even if it's shown on your college transcript, the University of Utah would like you to send it directly from the College Board. And so you will have to send AP credit separately. I know a lot of students will have both AP credit and transfer credit. And so you're like, it's on my transcript, but the U of U will want it sent directly from the from College Board. And then another thing just to be aware of in terms of degree audit, let's say you run a degree audit, it says like, oh, you're missing classes or they're not really counting for what you want. It could be that once they're reviewed, they don't automatically show up in your degree audits. You just need to make sure that you run another degree audit after any kind of transfer credit evaluations or additional transcripts have been submitted. It won't pick up anything new after the time you've run it. So you just want to make sure you run a new degree audit. I've had a couple times where just running a degree audit showed kind of everything fixed. And so it is kind of only a snapshot of that point in time. So you just a reminder to just rerun a new one whenever you want to check it. Some common things that people may need to review, and again, this is all on this one page, we're trying to make it easy for you, is for math. There's a math informed self-placement assessment tool. So we link to it right on our page, and it shows the tool that you can take the assessment. You can take it for free up to 5 times a year. But some things to help is it gives you some of the recommended prerequisites for the math classes you want to take. It gives you some sample problems and the solutions to them, which is great. Any kind of exams. And then there's a transfer course evaluation form off here for the Department of Mathematics. Come on in, come on in. And so, and we have pizza, so grab some pizza. So this is kind of the math informed self-placement information. So any kind of math, you'll want to go through this. And then for writing, since we talked about math, there is a writing assessment that you can take. And so again, it's just linked right off our website. Ideally, everyone should do it prior to going to orientation, but I know that sometimes people can miss it. There's a lot of information, a lot of emails. And so it kind of explains what it is. And then if you go to the bottom, there's a transfer credit evaluation form for writing classes, as well as some permission codes. And so those are some common things that people need right away, potentially, is to make sure that you have the right math and writing credits and placement so that you can take the classes you need. In addition to having your transfer credits applied to your degree, you'll also want to make sure that like, hey, I took this class at a former school, but I need to take the next class at you. That's what that is for as well. And then any students who are veterans, who have military connected students with like the Veteran Support Center, we have a link to it. It used to be through the registrar's office, but now all military credit goes through the Veteran Support Center. So you'll want to make an appointment with the Veteran Support Center. I think it's a great move because not only will they help you with your military credits, they have a lot of resources for military connected students. And so you'll not only get the credit information, but how you can be supported as a veteran at the U. And one of our former presidents of the Crimson Transfer Honor Society works in the Veteran Support Center. So they're very familiar with transfer students. And then again, I mentioned AP credit. So this is link will take you to all kind of prior learning credit information. And so if there's anything you need to get in terms of like CLEP or AP, if you do IB, language proficiency credit, it's all kind of on this page, but we know that advanced placement is probably one of the more common ones. And so if you just click on this, they actually have guides. So you would look at, oh, I took it in, fall 23 to summer 24, or 22 to 23, or 21 to 20. You can look at these guides and they'll tell you exactly where the certain scores will take you. So here, I'll just click on it. So for example, um, if you did art history, and you got a score between 3 to 5, you would get 6 credit hours in art history. And so this really just breaks it down for you. And so what I'm trying to do with our website is really put it all in one place so that you can find all those different questions in one spot. Just because I know that it's a lot of information, a lot of things you need to do. But again, we're here to support you through that. Another thing just to be aware of is when you do the petitions or any kind of transfer credit evaluation, you will need your syllabus. And so make sure that you have your syllabus on hand because it will ask for that when you submit it, particularly if you're out of state or international transfer credit. And so those are some of the kind of the main things. Some other things to be aware of is who you talk to for your transfer credit will vary depending on what you want your transfer credit for. So if you're looking for general education transfer credit, so if you're looking for any kind of gen eds, you would use either this form here right at the top. I'm not going to log in because I don't personally need to do it. Or you can make an appointment with the Navigate Hub for Exploring Students at this phone number or this email. They used to be called the Academic Advising Center. They told me that email is still working. So that's why that email is different. But I would say if you just need 1 or 2 classes, it makes sense to do the forms. If you needed to do 4 or 5, it might make more sense to do an appointment and try to get all those reviewed at the same time. But you will need syllabus of each of those classes. So again, any kind of general education requirement, which is required for all majors, you'll want to talk to the Navigate Hub. Any kind of credit, if you want it to apply to your major, does anyone you want to share your major? You have
I'm a psychology major.
So you would talk to the College of Social Behavioral Science or the psychology major for that. And so it will depend. And so we have a way to find that a little bit easier. So if you click on this after admissions, this is kind of like what is going on? Been admitted to the U, and you're getting everything settled in. I have kind of a step-by-step thing, but at the bottom, I have links to all the transfer course evaluations and petition forms. And then again, if you need to take like the next class and you need a permission code for that, because you took the class at a former institution, we have the links to the permission code request. So I'll just walk through a couple of these. So this is the registrar's office. They have a link to every department that has a permission number, permission code. And so you can click on this and it'll take you to each individual one. So that's a nice one on every place. I only know of our website in terms of every transfer course petition. So again, this will go to the Navigate Hub for the Gen Ed. But if you look here, like biology, we're just going to do a couple examples. So this is the biology page, and you can see kind of the steps. You can do their transfer credit evaluation form right there, and they also have their permission codes on this page. And this is all for biology. So if you're a biology major or trying to get into a biology class. So worst case scenario, some students may have to do multiple of these if you're taking a biology class and a chem class and a math class. And then, for example, health has a different process. So for that, they actually give an advisor's email and you'll want to contact them and CC your advisor. And then you send them your syllabus. And then for other departments, there's a form that you just fill out. And so it's a little bit unique for each major. So we're trying to post everything here just to make it as simple on our part as possible. And again, we are working to advocate for transfer students. So we're continually working to give recommendations to help make it better. Registrars didn't used to post all their transfer credit, and that's something that's newer. So that's been really helpful. And then some other things that we have that I just want to make sure people are aware of is I thought, again, depending on where you transfer from, it can look a little bit different. So for Salt Lake Community College, so if you go to this where you're transferring from, we have a page from Slick and it kind of gives some like we have a lot of close partnerships. It's our closest community college. So we have a lot of things that are really detailed for that. If you're transferring from out of state, Josie wrote a really nice kind of welcome message as an out of state transfer student leader in our office about how she got involved with things. And she has drop-in hours were actually during this, why we planned it during this time, but you can always come check her out on our office on Wednesdays 1 to 2. And then I have some specific information about out-of-state students. School of Business has an out-of-state transfer equivalency guide, so I put that on there. And then we do have some students who are international students who transfer college credits. And so Michael is a student leader in our office, and he wrote a welcome message, trying to be as friendly as possible. And for that one, there's some really specific information about how international transfer credit is reviewed. And I pulled this from the admissions office, and they gave some really detailed things. And it's very similar to out of state. But again, they look you to go to a good college. And which most people do. And so this is some more information. I won't make you read it all, but just so you know where to find all this information. And then some last things are kind of, I would say it can seem a little overwhelming. It can seem like, oh, there's a lot of things. I'm happy I do this often. I walk students through step-by-steps of like, you need to talk to this person, you need to fill this form out. You need this information, and we can do individualized support. So you can always meet with me to kind of go through really finer details, but we want to do kind of a general overview. And again, don't get discouraged. Keep asking. We're here to help support and advocate on your behalf. So if you're running into issues, if there's a weird glitch, it's very rare, but it does happen sometimes where something just doesn't look right or there's something wrong. And I know a lot of people, and I can reach out to people directly and say, hey, can you look at this student? And we've been able to get it resolved. So I am not beyond bugging people directly on your behalf. So don't be afraid to do that. Do you have any tips or recommendations?
I think
Josie?
everything Paul has said is absolutely correct. And the biggest thing is as soon as you see an issue, talk to someone about it, because the sooner you can deal with it and get it figured out, the better. Especially if it's a class you are transferring in that is a prereq for another class. It's better to just have that done so that it doesn't set you behind anything. So definitely reach out if you have any questions about any of the transfer credit process.
Thank you so much, Josie. I really appreciate you taking the time